All right, Daniel. So I just went through the entire CV. I have to say it's a decent CV. It's a pretty decent CV. I love how structured it is, how itemized it is. It's easy on the eyes, so that's always a good sign. However, I noticed a handful of things that probably would need some improvement. Okay, so let's start from the top. So from your contact info, your address is way too detailed. Okay, in a country like Nigeria, where things are just not safe, it's never advisable to put your clear details that way. Okay, just your local government is more than enough. Ibadan or your state, that's usually more than enough. Okay, but every other thing is excellent. It's spot on. Okay, going down now to your profile summary. This is probably where the major job starts from. Okay, so the idea of a profile summary or an objective summary or an executive summary, whatever name you want to call it, is that it's to tell three things. Who are you? What have you done in the past? And what can you do for me? So since you said you're applying for a UI UX design role or design gig, then it has to answer those questions. Who are you? Who are you in terms of your UI UX design? Right. So what kind of where did you learn from? Stuff like that. Who are you in terms of UI UX? Okay. What have you done in the past? Okay, what kinds of designs have you done in the past? How many designs have you done in the past? What years of experience do you have working in this UI UX industry, right? In this world, how long have you been doing it? That tells me what you've done in the past. And then what can you do for me? Okay, so what are you applying for? I think you answered that. So you're applying for UI UX design roles. What can you do for me? How can you do it for me? That's the whole point of the objective summary. Okay, who am I? What have I done in the past? What can I do for you? Okay, because a recruiter is looking through your CV thinking, well, can this person fit what I need? Can this person fit the role I need them to do? That's what they are looking for. Because most of the times your clients may not ask for a CV. It's usually when you're applying for a job, maybe a UI UX job. So when you're applying for one of those, that's when they ask for CVs. So the recruiter in that case will want to know, right? And then for someone like you who is into the design world, it might sometimes be nice to add in a portfolio link, right? If you can add something like that as a portfolio link so that they can access all the stuff you've done in the past, that would be very awesome. Okay, so moving down to your skills section and abilities, like you put it. I noticed one word there before I talk about the general thing. You put something like basic computer skills. Basic computer skills means nothing. Basic computer skills could be that you can just type, right? So specify what are those skills, right? And you did a lot of those things in the other aspect anyways, but probably the advice I would not give is itemize or differentiate your hard skills from your soft skills, right? And then point out those software systems that you use during your UI UX, right? So let's say you use Adobe, let's say you use Photoshop, let's say you use Canva. Itemize those apps there, because there's something called an applicant tracking system. If you're applying for a role and let's say the role needs a UI UX designer, now I'm not familiar with this, so pardon me if I'm wrong. Okay, but let's say you guys use Adobe for your UI UX, okay, or whatever. Really, like I said, I'm not so familiar with that word. So let's say you use Adobe for your UI UX. It's possible they could just itemize it that, okay, if this person doesn't have UI UX, then there will not be a good fit for this role. So they feed that into the applicant tracking system, the ATS. And then if you don't have Adobe as a keyword in your CV, then it's points out that, okay, this person is not a good fit for this role. Okay, so that's something very, 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 very important. You have to optimize your CV as well for the applicant tracking system. So that's something generally for you, and then also potentially in the future for maybe some of your clients. Just do some research on it. Okay, so moving down to your experience section, in general, you did well in adding some numbers, right? I think I noticed some numbers there, but generally speaking, you just need to add more numbers in all of the different sections, right? Picture this now. You have a car, you need someone to wash it. One person comes and says, hire me, I wash cars. The other person comes and says, hire me, I wash 10 cars a week. Of course, you think the second person is better, right? The first one, it could just be maybe you just had an errand to wash a car once. The other guy does it for a living, obviously. You get. So, and then another thing is, since you're applying for a UI UX role, everything you do has to focus on UI UX. So adding things like research assistant. If I'm a recruiter and I'm looking at that, how does your experience as a research assistant help me in this UI UX role I'm talking about? You understand? So tailor your CV so that it focuses on your UI UX. What have you done that is related to graphics? What have you done that is related to video editing or anything that is in that light, in that graphics world? Okay, focus on those things. How many clients have you worked for in the past? Did you work with a team of designers before? Have you worked with them? How many flyers have you ever created? Those are stuff that you need to focus on, because that's the point. It's not just saying all the things you've ever done in life. You have to focus on the things that are relevant to the role you're applying for. Okay, your education aspect is very nice, very nice. Your HND, your ND, that's awesome. Then your referee, is nice as well. The only challenge with that, right, something that can make it better, is that all your referees focus on they look to me like they are in the education aspect. So it's looking like some of your lecturers that you put as referees, right? Now, if you're applying for UI UX role, how can your lecturer tell me that you are good at UI UX? Do you understand? So that's only relevant if maybe you want to apply for a corporate job, blue, white collar and stuff like that. So then maybe your professors or your lecturers can now attest that this person is good in the classroom. So this person is good in so and so. But if you are using UI UX, then you probably need referees that are relevant to that field. Otherwise, those guys are not relevant. Those guys can't say that you are a good UI UX designer. You understand? So you must have noticed something now. Since now I'm done with the review, but this is a general tip. You must have noticed something now throughout this entire review I was giving you. I kept repeating UI UX. I kept repeating UI UX. I probably repeated that more than 10 times, right? Why is that? Because if you are a UI UX designer and you are applying for UI UX roles, right? Let's say I am the recruiter now. I don't care about anything you've done other than what is related to UI UX. Okay? So that is it. Try and put yourself in the perspective of the recruiter. What do they want to know? What are they looking for? So me now as a recruiter, I put a job ad out there, right? And I say I'm looking for a UI UX designer. I really don't want to know that they have experience in research. I really don't want to know that they have experience in anything that is not really relevant to UI UX. Why? Because that really does not concern me, right? So that is how you tailor a CV. You tailor a CV by putting yourself in the shoes of the recruiter, in the shoes of the HR manager, and thank God you have some experience in HR. That's something as well that helped me a lot with that. Having experience in HR, it was easier for me to just it's easier. So that's the idea. Okay, that's the idea. As for, but otherwise, yeah, enjoy.